Yeah. No, but American Dreamer, you've heard of Motor City Blightbusters if you've been in Southeast Michigan and awake for the past 26 years. Motor City Blightbusters has been making a difference in neighborhoods before it was popular. Nowadays, we hear a lot about the demolition of old housing and the importance of cleaning up the city. But you knew it firsthand. You knew it because it was on your block. You knew it because it was in your backyard. Tell me the story how you got started.
Well, certainly. I've always lived in the city of Detroit. I'm a lifelong Detroiter. 26 years ago, there was an abandoned home in our community that turned into a crack house. And of course, we called the mayor and the police. And one Friday night, it really got out of hand with people throwing bottles in the street and urinating in the bushes and parking on the lawn and breaking windows. And, I like a good party, but guys,
we got to get.
There are children, there are seniors, and we believe at Blightbusters, blight is a form of child abuse. We all have a moral obligation to make sure our children grow up in a clean, decent neighborhood. So that one particular evening, when my son was 2, my wife was actually pregnant with our daughter, and it just got completely out of hand. And I didn't want to move, but at the same time, I didn't want my children, our children, the children, growing up in and around this negative energy. So,
and no one does, and you can make a difference. So tell us what you did.
Absolutely. Well, the next morning, I had to make a decision. I was either going to pack up and leave or stay and fight. Well, I went to the hardware store, and I bought plywood, nails, and paint. I raced back to the house, and I spent about 8 hours out there. First 4 hours by myself, cutting the grass, trimming the bushes, boarding the home, painting the boards.
Not your house.
No.
But the vacant home that was being used by drug dealers.
Exactly. And about 4 hours into the project, 2 gentlemen stopped by and said, "What in the hell are you doing?"
Right.
And I said, "Well, I don't know about you. I don't want to move, and I don't want my kids growing up next to this." I said, "You can help me or leave me alone, and this is what I'm going to do."
There it is.
And I'll never forget these guys. The one gentleman was Albert E. Mack and Felix B. Wright III. Believe it or not.
Felix B.
Wright III.
There it is.
They said, "We want to help you." I said, "That's great." So we spent, again, a total of 8 hours out there. But at the end of the day, the property was boarded and secured. And when the drug dealers came back, they couldn't get in, so they got in their Jeep and they left. Criminals are like cockroaches. You turn on the lights and they scatter.
There it is.
So for the last 26 years, we've been bringing folks together from both the city and the suburbs in an effort to not only stabilize and revitalize and beautify Detroit, but create ownership, both in the neighborhoods through our housing work and in the business district by building community centers and coffee shops and art galleries and jazz clubs.
And let's put some geography to this. Now, you live in Old Redford, right?
Yes, sir.
Kind of lost of Grand River.
Yes, sir.
And now I've been around Detroit a long time, so I've seen the changes in neighborhoods, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. This one for the better. And you've been working hard. So tell me something about what it's like to go hang out in Old Redford today.
Certainly. Well, it's been a team effort.
Yeah.
Let me start there. We're blessed. We have over 10,000 registered volunteers. We work 6 days a week. We meet at a little coffee shop we built next to the Redford Theater.
There you go.
It's known as the Motor City Java and Tea House. It's really become the heart of that community. You need to be there on a Friday or a Saturday when there's intermission at the Redford Theater.
Okay.
And at the Java House there, we do jazz and poetry and open mic. So the world literally meets in that coffee shop every Friday and Saturday, and of course throughout the week. But this is also where we gather with our volunteers to continue our cleanup and restoration efforts. We've raised and spent about $20 million over the last 26 years in that community.
Yeah.
We've worked on over 1,500 properties, and we're going to continue to bring folks together to rebuild this community.
American Dreamer, you've got to find out what it is to go from survive to thrive, to get your feet under you. Too many of us are running to our second job trying to figure out how to pay these bills that we didn't need to acquire most of it in the first place. We've got to get our budgets under control so that we can put an adequate amount of our income towards housing, towards the things that make life good, so that we have something, to offer this world. We got to go from survive to thrive so that you can have an impact, because the world needs you. And here's a guy having an impact and inviting 10,000 plus volunteers to join him. You should get involved with Motor City Blightbusters, American Dreamer. It's hard to start on your own. Ask John. He started on his own. It's hard. But when there's some inertia, when there's some movement, hey, join in. It gets a lot of fun. Tell the folks some of the stuff that goes on these days. You got some projects every weekend, Break.
Oh, absolutely. Every Saturday, rain or shine, we meet at 17336 Lasser, which is the Motor City Java and Tea House. And we'll go out into the community, and again, we'll either tear something down or fix something up. We just got done clearing 2 city blocks of abandoned property.
Great.
When the crack epidemic hit in northwest Detroit in the late 80s, it started on a street called Santa Clara.
Okay.
And when the smoke cleared, literally, there were 9 abandoned houses in a row. Well, over the last year and a half, working with our volunteers and our corporate sponsors, we've been able to deconstruct all of those by hand, believe it or not. And
No bulldozers.
No bulldozers and no bull. But, excuse me, it just came out. But the point is, it really has been an effort to bring folks together and recreate. On that space, that land, we have a small community garden on 2 city lots, and everything we grow, we give away.
Yeah.
We want to be able to grow more. So this Saturday at the Java House, we'll be meeting to start expanding that farm from 2 lots to 2 city blocks.
There you go.
So that's the Farm City Detroit effort. Just up the road from there, we've purchased a 9-unit apartment building that we're going to be rehabbing for returning vets. So vets will be able to live in the farmhouse, in the Veterans House, work on the farm, which is just across the way, get resources from our community center that we've built there, and of course get a cup of coffee from the Java House, enjoy the movies at the theater. So we've built a campus and an opportunity.
And go to work, right? Here's
Yes.
9 apartments full of vets who have come home, and these guys have been working hard in a foreign land,
Yes.
very likely, and they've come home, and it's hard, that transition from, military life to civilian life. Here's a place to get organized, to get on the job, to put yourself, and so this is an outstanding, synergy
It
of
is.
really making sense of what goes on in the world and how to make a difference. So we really appreciate what you're doing with Motor City Blight Busters. American Dreamer, you can go online to openreddoor.com and you'll find prominently displayed there on the radio page the Motor City Blight Busters logo. Click through, it'll link you to their site, and you can find out all the stuff that's going on and how you can get involved. And so we appreciate you, John. I look forward to talking more as the weeks go here this month of April.
Thank you so much.
April
Thank
in
you.
the D with John, George, and Motor City Blight Busters.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for coming in.
Appreciate it.
All right. So, American Dreamer, you're listening to Michigan Real Talk. We're talking to real people.